What's up guys, HynesZ here and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Now in this video, we're going to give you guys an update on our LINKECU install. So yeah, in last week's video you would have seen that we gave you guys an update on the chassis fabrication, and whilst that was being done, we were also working on the ECU setup installation as well. And I'm really excited to show you guys the progress that my dad has done on the wiring loom and also the installation of the digital dash and the ECU. Now we've been using Link products since day dot, since 2017 when I first started competing in Irish Drift Championship, and we've never had any problems with any of the gear that Link has supplied us. My dad did wiring loom first time around and we never had any issues, so it made sense again for him to do it again. Now this time we did do some changes to the wiring loom, and I will get my dad to talk about what he did and show you guys what he ended up making in the end. But I have to say the finished product of this looks fantastic and exceeded my expectations of how it looks inside the cockpit. First off, from the driver's point of view, as you can see the dash, we have it right here, MSI Strada. This is the larger version, this is the 7-inch dash, and looks absolutely great behind the steering wheel. It looks amazing, and with lots of different functionality here, we can change between different dashes and stuff like that to be able to get what we want. And yeah, it just looks great in the car. Looks pretty subtle underneath the, I suppose, the main dashboard, and should give us all the information that we need to keep the car in check. In the center console, we kind of kept it quite a bit simple. We went with a black base centerpiece that we got from Group D, and we've just put some of our buttons in here. We're going to have to change, we're going running toggle buttons instead of like switches, but these need to be replaced. These are not high quality enough, won't really last that long reliability wise. We got a push start as well. So yeah, pretty nice setup there. We got a breaker switch. Is that what it's called? Breaker switch? So this is an isolator as well for our battery, which it should be needed in all drift cars, which we'll get my dad to go through a little bit more detail later. And finally is the dash setup. We've got our Busman control panel here with all of our control board, should I say, with all of our fuses and relays, and also we've got our LINKECU X here as well. Now before we go anywhere, I want to actually show our LINKECU corner right here, which has all of the LINKECU products that they have supplied us. We've got our dashes here as well. We've got one for the new car as well when that's ready. We've got another Fury X as well here ready to go into the new car. Got some Lambda sensors, which this is the first time using this actually in the Pro cars. So that'll be very interesting to see how that works out, makes it easier to tune for our tuner, John Allen. We've got a wide range of sensors. Again, we showed this in the previous video. If you haven't already, make sure to check out the link in the description where we unbox all of this stuff. But some stuff we have to do yet is we have to install our new solenoids. We've got some map sensors as well that we need to install. So all of the sensors installed. One of the things I want to point out is these knock sensors. This is something new for the car completely. We've never had knock sensors in the engine or bolted onto the engine, so we'll show you that as well whilst the engine is out. We've got some wiring loom stuff. Again, this will be used for the new car. Our wiring loom is already done. We've got a lovely little banner here as well. So yeah, that's our LINKECU corner, and yeah, it's actually came up quite nice. I quite like how it looks. Unfortunately, I think probably maybe a year's time, all that gear will be not on the corner anymore, so we'll have to find something Link related to replace that corner, unfortunately, but when the time comes, we'll find something. And here is my dad, the wizardry behind the electrics. So one of the biggest changes we have for this particular car, which is an update versus the older version of it, is the wiring. So this is something that my dad has been putting a lot of time into, and it's probably taken a lot more time than what we would have wanted. When we started this, we had the time to do it, but also the reason why it took so long was because of the plugs and stuff with COVID. So this is quite unique to this particular car. It's something, it's my first time, well, it's the second wiring loom you've ever done. Yeah. It's the second wiring loom you've ever done, but this time you decided to do concentrically concentrically twisted. right? I am so bad at speaking English. So what's unique is that it's all twisted, right? It's kind of like, you know, pretty high tier race car stuff.
Yeah, we conceptually
Stop it.
Yeah, it's concentrically wound.
Okay.
Concentrically wound. Basically, you have layers of the cables inside, and we'll say you'll start off with maybe a heavy cable in the center. You wind it, then you wind the next layer outside the opposite way. And basically, what it does is it makes it very, very flexible. And as well as that, right, you know, if you have a bunch of cables there and you bend that, you want to put strain on these cables, and you'll be kind of kinking the ones on the inside. Well, with this, because they're wound around, there's no strain. So it's kind of strain relief, really.
I suppose the con is how long it takes, because it probably took you a week. And
Horrendous.
it was your first time doing it too, so it's, you know, you had to figure it out as you went along.
You know, I'm sure, you know, if you're doing these all the time, you'll have a much quicker way of doing it. Link Loom was actually perfect to use, and
the advantage with that was that everything was already pinned into plugs as well.
Everything was pinned into plugs, everything was labelled, and okay, fair enough. And it's, I know it's 4 or 5 meters long or something, so it's probably too long. Like, so I ended up having to cut it back, but it's perfect. So I mean, we now know, like, we have cables coming from the main plugs, we say, on the ECU to each sensor, and they're all color coded as well, which is great, you know.
So talking about the control box, what was the reasoning behind doing that? I suppose you made one for this car the first time around. You actually made it, right, with the old ECU setup.
Yeah, well, I mean, robbing bits of the original 14, you know, relay holders and all that kind of stuff, and that's messy. No, it was fine once it was done, but like, this is a much neater arrangement. We can put 10 relays in there, even though I think we're only using like 7 at the moment. But and you know, again, 20 fuses, and again, we're not using that many, but there's plenty of scope there if you want to expand. But it's very, very compact. It's very, very neat.
I think the biggest gain is the fact that, you know, once you remove the dashboard cover, like, you know exactly what's there in front of you. You know, everything is, like you said, clearly defined, and I suppose there will be labeling put on it too, which will help a lot too as well. But it makes it simpler. I think it looks way better too. So when you do remove it, it's not like kind of a massive range of different size relays. Like, you can just remove one relay and just replace it with another one without even thinking if it's the right size or not, which is extremely helpful. But we have what's that again?
Yeah, 150 amp breaker there. Battery can supply an awful lot of current, and if you say the main cable coming from the battery pole down, which would come all the way down to the isolator down there, if there was an impact, if you had an accident and the cable got trapped, it literally could go on fire. You know, it would be possible. So the breaker has 150 amp capacity, and so if you had a major problem, it would trip off. We've put a second one here, and that's for the fuse board in the back of the car. So again, if the rear of the car got, you know, a slap,
which is quite likely with myself, yeah.
Which is possible.
Yeah, I suppose, you know, ECUs is quite a specific thing. Generally, people don't really install this stuff themselves. They generally get someone to do it for them, or to wiring them online. But I would fair to say this is actually quite an easy process to do, and Link provide everything. You know, we got all of our sensors, we got the dash, we got the ECU, we even got wiring as well from LINKECU to do this install, and we just made it more complicated by doing the twisting of the wiring. I'm not going to say the word because I can't freaking say it. Just by trying to get all of the plugs and stuff ourselves, and by doing it by ordering stuff from different countries to make it, and that's what took it so long. Other than that though, finding information online is super easy. You just Google search away, finding, you know, documentation on the ECU. You get all the documentation that you get, all the plugs you get, is all there with ECU. So it's actually fairly simple to install. And Link also provide a lot of wiring stuff already, so wiring plug-in stuff. So if you have an S chassis with an SR20 or something, you can buy the correct ECU, plug it straight in, bring it to your tune, get the car tuned, and off you go. So a lot of really great products that they supply. So I highly recommend checking out the website. Thank you, Link, for supplying us all the electronics for this car, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what this car does on a dyno in a couple of weeks' time. So if that's something you'd like to see, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Link is a fantastic company, support a lot of drifting, so I hope you guys support them too. So other than that, guys, thanks so much for watching this video, and we will talk to you guys very soon. Cheers and goodbye.